This is Chinatown in Haymarket in Sydney. I actually went there recently, and this is the City of Sydney Council, who are responsible for the management and maintenance of Chinatown. They're an interesting bunch. I actually made a video about them recently. One thing that I can guarantee you, they're much more woke than you. Yes, that's a councillor on screen. For example, this is Councillor Ollie Arkins, elected as Mitch Wilson, but while in office, he has since transitioned from a him to a they. I kid you not. On the council website, they write, Councillor Ollie Arkins, they recently changed their name from Mitch Wilson. I don't explain it, I just report it. Currently, there are rules in Chinatown, sensible ones, I might add, that state that signs and so on written in Chinese should be translated into English. Fair enough. People from all around the world live in Sydney, and English is obviously the common language. This is clearly a Malaysian Grill, and this is a Chinese Noodle House. This is the Council's current Development Control Plan from 2012, the DCP, in section 3.16.12.9, Chinatown Signage Precinct. They clearly state, signage is encouraged to incorporate traditional and contemporary interpretations of Chinese typefaces, letters, numbers, characters and colours. Where used, English translations are to be included. Okay, it's clear and sensible. It makes it readily apparent what services or goods a business provides. However, this motley crew of Sydney councillors decided that forcing people to put English on their signs is probably not very progressive. Okay, I don't know if it were these particular councillors, but collectively the council are planning to ditch the English language requirement. Thank you kindly to a viewer for pointing this out. I would never have discovered this myself. Last year, the City of Sydney Council released a Haymarket and Chinatown revitalisation strategy, where they are basically proposing two amendments to the DCP to enhance Haymarket's distinct character. One involves wall heights, okay, whatever, while the other talks about Chinatown signage. These amendments were updated in December 2024 and can be downloaded from their website. Specifically, again in section 3.16.12.9, although they've changed the heading slightly, Chinatown and Thai Town signage precinct, so they've also included Thai Town. They talk about a predominance of LED neon signage, but more importantly, signage may use any language. They seem to have removed the English translation requirement. Actually, in their explanatory document, that's exactly what they've done. On page 60, regarding the Chinatown signage precinct, they write, it is proposed that signage can be in any language with the requirement for English translations proposed to be removed from the DCP provisions. So yes, their intention is that English will no longer be required on signs in Chinatown. However, not everyone is happy with this, including the Chinese. You see, over the last few months, the council have been accepting feedback regarding the proposed changes, and one of the groups who provided feedback was the Chinatown Action Committee, who are basically made up of business and property owners in Sydney's Chinatown. They wrote this letter to the Lord Mayor of Sydney a few days ago. Specifically, regarding the signage, they said, absence of English on signage may reinforce Chinatown as a foreign enclave, work against promoting understanding in a multicultural society, and deter visitations other than from tourists. CAC strongly recommends that signage must include English. They're 100% right, of course. This is Australia, not Beijing. From a business perspective, it makes perfect sense to include an English translation. Obviously, business owners want as many customers as possible, and you don't get that by excluding half the population. One of the signatories of the letter, Ronald Ma of Ma & Company, gets it. This is the company's website. They understand that in an English-speaking country, to not put an English translation is a disservice. Not only does it create communication barriers, it also has an air of English speakers not welcome. Sure, on their website they have Chinese for their Chinese-speaking customers, but they also have English, because they're not stupid. So that leads me to ask, are these councillors stupid? Sorry, I should really include all the councillors, as I don't really know who came up with the idea. Who are they trying to appease by removing English in Chinatown? It certainly isn't Chinese people. My personal experience with Chinese migrants, as I deal with a lot of them myself, having a Chinese wife, is that most of them just want to be left alone and enjoy their lives in Australia. They don't need woke counsellors sticking their noses in where they're not welcome. By the way, in their letter, the Chinatown Action Committee also don't agree with the council's push for more neon lights, writing, CAC recommends the policy does not promote neon over other forms of signs. Specifically, they wrote, neon is part of the urban fabric of some Asian cities, and some neon signs can add interest to the streetscape of Chinatown. However, a plethora of neon signs does not reflect the history of Chinatown and does not suit the full range of its multifaceted activities and businesses. They also reiterate that signage must include English. So what are these councillors smoking? Why do they want to remove the English language requirement from signs in Chinatown? Or do they just enjoy dividing society along ethnic lines?